First of all, let's look at what the goals are of walking with a weighted rucksack, whether or not you are doing it for exercise, for weight loss, or if you're doing this for the military. One of the most important things is going to be efficiency. So efficiency is getting where you're going with the least amount of energy necessary to get there. Now, if you're walking with a rucksack to try to lose weight, you may think to yourself that you're trying to use more energy, but that's what you're using the weights in the rucksack for. Once you have your weights in there, whatever we're doing, we want to do in the most efficient way possible. The second goal for optimized movement is that we're doing it with reduced impact or the lowest impact or risk of injury to the body. So how do we keep our spine aligned? How do we keep our joints aligned while we're doing this activity so we have the least risk of injury possible? That way you're going to be able to do this sort of activity for a long period of time over the course of a number of years rather than get burned out or injure yourself very quickly and have to stop the activity. The third goal on top of efficiency is going to be speed, because a lot of rucksack walking or hiking is going to be in some type of timed environment where we need to go as quickly as possible, and we're actually going to be graded on how fast we do it. So we have number one, efficiency, number two, low risk of injury and impact on the joints, and number three, speed. Okay, the first thing I want to discuss is posture. Should we keep a vertical posture or should we be bent over as we're trying to hike? My opinion would be the same as I have for normal walking technique or any other activities, is vertical posture is going to be optimal. When we stand with vertical posture, we have our cervical spine lined up correctly with our thoracic and lumbar spines, and then we have our lumbar spine lined up properly with our pelvis. So everything is stacked naturally, one vertebrae on top of the other, reducing any stress. When we start to bend the spine, especially under weight, we're adding extra stress at each of the vertebral joints that is going to end up increasing the risk for injury. We also have the disconnect between the bottom of our lumbar spine and the pelvis when we're pitched over, particularly if we're pushing forward and landing heavy on the heel. With each impact with a misaligned pelvis and spine, we're going to have exaggerated forces that could cause problems down the road. So vertical spine, vertical posture is what I believe is going to be necessary when we're hiking either on flat ground, going downhill, or going up most slopes. Now, if we're talking about extreme slopes, then obviously there's going to be some change in mechanics if we're going up a very steep hill. But for most situations, we're going to be walking with a vertical posture. In addition to the alignment of the spine that is going to be much better with vertical posture, we also have the issue of impact when we are landing. I'll demonstrate with a vertical posture when we are walking, we typically will end the leg swing, place the foot, leg swing, place the foot, and we move in this manner. This is a relatively low impact form of movement when we place on the heel. When we lean forward, what happens is we are actually pushing and landing on the heel at the end of the push with each step. That is going to cause increased forces of impact on the heel itself, but also reverberating up into the knees and the hips and to the lower back. So just the very nature of how walking occurs when we're pitched over is going to increase the force when we land versus vertical posture and landing with minimal impact. And so really no stress going up the knees, the ankles, the spine if we walk with vertical posture. The next point I want to make, if we're pitching forward with walking, is not even as obvious as that. And that's going to be the lateral alignment of the knees over the ankles and the feet that occur if we don't keep vertical posture. When we keep vertical posture and we step, we place the heel and then we transfer weight using our lower abs. And what the lower abs do is not only tuck the pelvis to keep the pelvis aligned vertically, it also rotates the core, the lumbar spine and pelvis, bringing the knee in proper alignment over the ankle and the foot. So we have even stresses over the joint rather than focusing all of the weight over the inside of the knee and the inside of the ankle and the inside of the arch of the foot that can cause the foot to collapse, or the arch of the foot to collapse. Let me demonstrate what happens when we lean forward with walking. When we lean forward with walking, what we're doing is pushing from the hips while we are turning both sides of our upper abdomen forward to create the lean, and we end up pushing in this way. And as I land, all of my weight is going to land on this forward foot before I have transferred the root from my rear leg to my forward leg. And this is going to cause my knee to be lined up over the inside of the foot, over the big toe, rather than over the whole foot. And you'll notice what happens when now I transfer my root from the rear leg, where it is now, after I've completed the push forward with the leaned posture. As I transfer the root, you're going to see the weight go from the inside to a neutral position. That's because of the lower abdominal rotation on the left side that is rotating the lower abs to the left and bringing the knee along with it to line up over the ankle. When we push forward, the problem is we've already placed all of the weight on the foot, and all of it is on the inside of the foot. And now, only after the weight is there and the potential damage is done, do I now transfer the weight, and now my knee aligns up over the ankle. When we walk properly with vertical posture, that transition occurs while the forefoot is going down. I'm using my lower abs to bring the knee alignment over the ankle. And by the time my forefoot hits the ground, I'm already there where I want to be. And at that point in time, I can take the next step. So pitched over posture is going to cause, number one, misalignment of the spine with increased stresses on the vertebrae. It's going to cause increased heel impact because of the leaning and the push, and it's going to cause misalignment laterally of the knee over the ankle, causing increased stress with each step. Those are the reasons I believe that vertical posture while rucksacking is going to be the proper way to do it.